Am 27. April lud Paul Wallfisch in seinen Musik-Salon Small Beast zwei Gäste ein, zum einen Thilo Schölpen und Barbez aus New York. Wie würden Sie Ihre Musik beschreiben? Ich habe die Bezeichnung experimental gelesen. Stimmt das?
Experimental seems to encompass it easiest because maybe it's the widest category. We have a lot of different influences, pretty much whatever we have an interest in musically, which could range from ancient Jewish melodies from 2,000 years ago to David Bowie. It's a very eclectic band, but we also play songs by Alfred Schnittke, the Russian composer, a kind of melancholy to some of the pieces that maybe has a Jewish feeling or Jewish origin, but the music itself is not related so much to klezmer or anything like that. It's kind of comes out of the experimental rock world, if anything. So.
Gibt es Bands, die Sie beeinflusst haben?
The Clash, the Art Bears, Fred Frith, Soft Machine, Led Zeppelin, jazz, a lot of classical music, contemporary classical music, Schnittke, like I mentioned, Shostakovich. We have a lot of those inspirations, different ones. There was a band that I grew up with in Wisconsin called De Kreutzen that was a big influence on me, on my guitar playing.
Können Sie mir etwas über Ihr Paul Celan-Projekt erzählen?
And probably, he's one of the most, for me, the greatest poet of the 20th century. He was a Romanian Jewish poet, but his first language was German because he was from Czernowitz, which was an area that switched a lot of times, and German was his first language. And his parents were killed in the Holocaust, and he himself was in labor camps. He's always been a big inspiration to me. I've admired his work. He's a very visionary, experimental poet, but also spoke very, he felt that there were things from the Holocaust that could never be described in language, but he tried to change language to encompass the reality that happened to him. And he committed suicide in 1970 by drowning in the Seine. He lived in Paris. But he was one of the greatest poets. His most famous poem is called Death Fugue. It recounts in a very musical way the story of the Holocaust and what happened to him and his parents. John Zorn asked me to make a record for his Jewish series, so I had this idea to do it using his text, but our music, not klezmer, it's not related to that.
Was sind Ihre weiteren Projekte?
Yes, we are working on a new record. It should be out by next year. It's also for John Zorn. It's based on these ancient Roman Jewish melodies that the Roman Jews were the oldest Jewish community in Europe. They predate the destruction of the temple, and they have a very unique music that's neither Ashkenazi nor Sephardic. So we are making a record using them as a little bit the source material.